Xenos was born in a poor neighborhood and was deprived of many opportunities. Later, he became a doctor and joined an adventurers team, but they kicked him out because he was too weak. That's when Xenos decided to rely on his own strength and eventually became the most powerful mage and healer in the world. Our story begins with that Millennium girl named Leela, who woke up and prepared breakfast with that charming person named Xenos. Leela tells us that healers are ranked in 3 levels. Third-level healers can only treat wounds, second-level ones can completely heal a person, and first-level healers are those capable of transforming the world into a better place. This is the kingdom of Herzaith, a land whose history has long been tied to healers. They helped expand it and granted it great prestige. Many healers gather at the Royal Hospital in the city to learn advanced magic and receive their licenses to begin their journey as official healers. However, the man before you, Xenos, does not hold a license to practice healing. Still, he is incredibly skilled. He works as a healer, and after helping someone, the man thanks him and pays him for what he was able to do. Layla congratulates Xenos on becoming so talented. People now come to him from all over to be treated by his extraordinary powers. Xenos sets off on a new adventure while Layla prepares food for when he returns. She is extremely talented at cooking, like a professional chef. Then comes Carmilla, the girl with beautiful eyes and very long hair, who tells Layla, "I'm going to my room and will wait for dinner when you've prepared it." At that moment, Zofia also arrives, waiting for Xenos to return. Everyone is gathering, coming to see Mr. Xenos. Even the cat girl. It seems Xenos is quite the popular man. So far, 4 girls are waiting for him. We don't know what he'll do for them yet. Layla finishes making the food and steps out to change her clothes since they are all going to eat together. The girls begin tasting the food and find it delicious. One of them says, "Wait until Layla gets here or she'll get mad and hit you. We must eat together." Meanwhile, Leela is outside washing clothes in the garden, enjoying the beautiful weather. She then takes a short rest. But inside, the great disaster occurs. The girls kept tasting the food until they finished it completely. There was no food left. They all start panicking, wondering what to do now, as there aren't enough ingredients to make another meal. Then Leela walks in and says, "What's the matter, girls? Why are you all standing there like that?" Slowly, they begin telling her that the smell was so good, they just wanted a taste. And then everyone kept tasting it until it was all gone. Leela replies, "It's okay, but we don't have enough ingredients now to cook another dinner." And they all apologize to her. Leela asked the girls to bring her more ingredients. Linga quickly offered to go get them right away, but Sophia interrupted her, insisting that she should be the one to do it and that she would bring the best ingredients. Then Loyu cut in, saying that she could carry any amount needed. Carmilla then spoke to Layla, saying she thought Layla should have been angrier. Layla responded that she wasn't that mad, because she was an adult and liked seeing everyone gathered together. She then thought to herself that she might still be able to finish making dinner before Xenos returned. Meanwhile, we see Xenos walking down the street when he notices a girl named Teal walking tiredly. A Horty man approaches her. He is her master. He asked her where she had been and what she was doing. She told him her stomach had been hurting, so she went to the hospital, but since she didn't have any money, they refused to treat her. The man hit her, angry that she thought mere pain was enough to earn her any sort of mercy. After all, she was just a slave. He threw her to the ground and ordered her to return to work. He then dragged her to a place filled with graves and tossed her down beside one of them. A dark shadow emerged from the grave and entered her body. He struck her again, demanding she get up and find him something valuable, promising to return before her and saying he would feed her today if she proved worthy. Suddenly, Teal stood up, now transformed into a ghostly figure, and landed a powerful blow to his stomach. Terrified, the man ran off. He bumped into Xenos and told him that his slave had gone crazy and was attacking him. He begged for Xenos' help. Xenos asked what kind of work they were doing. The man hesitated, then claimed they were only doing farming. He then offered to pay Xenos to do something to her. Teal approached, ready to attack the man again, but Xenos stepped between them and asked her why she was so enraged. She didn't answer, instead launching another attack at him. However, she couldn't harm him. The man yelled at Xenos to kill her, but he refused, saying that killing wasn't his job. The man grew angry, declaring that he was a noble and she was just a slave. He could always buy another. Xenos apologized, saying he tries to save any life he can. At that moment, Teal lunged at him again. Though Xenos blocked her attacks, she was incredibly fast. Faster than any normal demi-human. She dashed towards Xenos, trying to strike his face, but he raised a large mana shield that repelled her, sending her flying into a nearby building, which exploded from the impact. half the building collapsed onto her master. Xenos walked over to the fallen teal, telling her that he would help remove whatever was possessing her, so she needed to calm down. The shadow exited her body before Xenos could even begin. He promised her that he would help her. He used healing magic and began to treat her wounds. As he healed her, Teal lost consciousness. Xenos, however, was left wondering what kind of farming work exposes someone to spiritual possession. The man was astonished when he saw Xenos heal Teal's broken leg in an instant. He realized Xenos was extremely powerful and begged him for help. Xenos replied, "My work hours are over for today. I might come back tomorrow, but if you really want help now, it'll cost you a lot." The man handed him some money, but Xenos didn't seem impressed. The man protested, "That's already higher than market price. Do you think a healer should extort people with outrageous fees?" Xenos calmly replied, "I am an unlicensed healer working in the shadows. It's a job from the criminal world, like grave robbing." The man threw his hands up and said, "Fine, take her, do whatever you want." Xenos took the contract from him, bought Teal, and accepted the payment. The scene shifts. Teal wakes up, and Xenos tells her that he bought her and wants to explain what he did. He found a gallstone blocking her bile duct and causing inflammation. "I noticed you were bending over like you had stomach pain, and your skin had a yellowish tint. That caught my interest, so I followed you." He continued, "I opened your abdomen, removed the stone, and closed it back up." Teal thanked him sincerely for saving her. Xenos told her he expected equal value in return. "You'll start working right away." She responded, "I'll do anything you ask. I'll repay you as your slave." Xenos then asked her about something in a book and said he needed her help researching it. They went into the forest, and she handed him some documents she found, saying, "I still owe you." He told her, "I always pay a fair price for the work I request, and I expect the same in return. You found these papers. I wouldn't have been able to find them alone. Their value is equal to what I did for you. Your debt is paid. You can go wherever you want now." Then he tore up the ownership contract. Teal said to him, "The place I want to go now is, well, since I'm no longer a slave, I'll live to find that place. When I discover it, I'll come back and tell you." She asked, "Will I see you again?" Xenos replied, "Yes. Come find me. Whenever you're hurt, I'll be there to treat you." As a healer in the shadows, the scene shifts back to the house. The girls were preparing dinner, and Xenos asked what they were doing. They quickly told him that Linga hadn't done anything wrong and that she hadn't eaten anything. Linga explained that they brought a lot of ingredients, so she decided to cook. Then we see Xenos standing in front of Aston and his group. Aston tosses him a gold coin and mocks Xenos for being poor, saying he's probably never even seen a coin like that before. He tells Xenos he doesn't want him in the group anymore. Xenos, confused and hurt, asks him why. After all, he'd always been by their side since they were kids. But Aston just laughs at him, calling him a fool. He says he can get rid of anyone he doesn't want and that Xenos was just like cattle to him. He only kept him around out of pity. But now that they're one of the most famous combat squads around, they have to look respectable in front of nobles and royalty. There's no place for someone like Xenos anymore. Aston tells him that coin is his end-of-service reward and warns him to never claim he was part of their group again. Xenos silently agrees and walks away. Next, we see a man and woman attacking a little girl. But the small elf girl kicks the man in the stomach and tries to run. He throws a spear and hits her in the leg, and she collapses. The man approaches and stabs her in the stomach with a knife. Just then, Xenos, who was passing nearby, hears the noise and rushes over. He demands to know who they are and why they stabbed the child. The woman coldly replies that she's their slave, and it's none of his business. Xenos says he'll buy the girl from them and offers the gold coin he got from Aston. They agree and take the coin, then walk away. Xenos hurries to the girl and uses his healing magic on her. She's surprised to feel no pain at all and thanks him repeatedly. Xenos tells her he's a healer. All he did was remove the spear, repair the damage, and close the wound. The girl introduces herself as Leela, and he shares his name too. He confesses he doesn't have a license to practice healing. It's all self-taught. He suggests they go buy her some clothes and have a meal together. They go to a restaurant, but Xenos doesn't eat since he only had enough money for her meal. When he finds out Leela doesn't have a home, he thinks about sending her to an orphanage in the slums, but changes his mind after remembering how badly kids are treated there. Leela asks where he works. Xenos tells her he just got kicked out of the adventurer group and has nowhere to go. He needs to find a job fast. At that moment, a man named Zondi enters, injured, asking for water. Xenos sees his arm is wounded, a gunshot burn from a magic rifle, and quickly heals him. Zondi is amazed by Xenos' power and gives him 4 gold coins in gratitude. Xenos decides then and there he's going to open a healing clinic. He tells Leela his plan. She wishes him luck, but warns him it's going to be tough without a license. Since he's from the slums, it'll be nearly impossible to get one. That means he'll have to operate in secret, which is illegal. When Leela offers to work with him, Xenos refuses at first, saying it's illegal to have a child help in an unlicensed clinic. Leela becomes sad, not wanting to be left alone again. Xenos gives in and tells her she can stay. For now. They go out looking for a place to open the clinic and come across an abandoned house. Xenos thinks it's perfect, but Leela is scared. It looks like the kind of place haunted by a wraith, one of the strongest undead creatures. They resemble humans, but can kill and turn others into ghosts. Xenos and Leela enter the house. Leela uses her simple magic to light a holy lamp to illuminate the space. She tells Xenos she can use small spells. Xenos checks the place out and finds it good enough to live and work in. Suddenly, a wraith appears and attacks. Xenos fights back using his healing magic. He explains to Leela that undead creatures like wraiths are weak to healing magic. He'd fought many when he was with Aston's team. Xenos tries to reason with the wraith, saying this is the only place he can stay and he won't bother her, but she's furious and attacks again. Xenos defends himself with stronger healing spells. The Wraith summons her minions, preparing for a full-on attack. Xenos powers up and uses a massive healing force, defeating them all. Then he tells their leader that he's a healer working in secret, and all he needs is one treatment room and one bedroom. The leader agrees to give them the first floor, but the second floor is off-limits. It's hers. The next morning, Xenos and Layla begin cleaning the house. Layla suggests they announce the opening of the clinic, but Xenos tells her that doing so might attract too much attention. The Royal Hospital might catch wind of them. Leah asks, then how are patients supposed to find us? Xenos replies calmly, don't worry, they should start showing up soon. And sure enough, Zondi walks in. Xenos greets him, saying he was expecting him to return. Anyone who gets burned by a magic bullet isn't just some random guy. People like that usually have a reason to avoid regular hospitals. Zondi tells him to check on his sister. Her arm's in bad shape after being shot. Upon examining her, Xenos realizes the weapon used was a magically enchanted gun, laced with a special poison, and the bullet is still lodged in her arm, slowly rotting the tissue. He tells her the arm is nearly dead. Amputation is the best option before the poison spreads throughout her body. The operation? It'll cost 1 million win. Zondi loses it at the price, but his sister calms him down and asks Xenos, you're really asking for that much, even knowing who I am? She reveals herself as Zofia the Tempest, a major figure in the slums and leader of the lizard men, a champion of the poor who robs corrupt merchants and gives back to those in need. Xenos smiles. I've heard of you. And no, I'm not just charging you to chop your arm off. I'm going to give you a brand new one. Zofia agrees and lies down. Xenos begins the surgery, first removing the damaged arm, then using his magic to recreate a new one. Bones, tissues, blood vessels, muscles, and finally skin. Zofia stares at her new arm in awe. She thanks him and promises to send more of her people for treatment. And they'll pay. That night, Leela prepares tea for Xenos. But he notices something odd. 3 cups. Who's the third for? She tells him it's for Carmilla. Suddenly, the wraith Carmilla appears, joins them, and takes a sip, only to find the tea too hot. She quietly sets it down and leaves. Layla asks Xenos, why are the lizardmen always injured? Xenos explains, there's a conflict with another faction. The slums are in the middle of a 3-way turf war between demi-human groups. The lizardmen and the orcs crash. The door slams open. A girl barges in. Linga, the leader of the werewolves, followed by her wolf pack. Xenos tells her the clinic is closed, but if it's an emergency, he can help. Linga replies, I've come for you. No matter how many of Zofia's men I crush, they just keep coming back, totally healed. That's suspicious. She accuses him of being behind this secret healer rumor and moves to kill him. Xenos deflects her attacks effortlessly. Her followers join in, but nothing they do affects him. In retaliation, he wrecks the first floor. Suddenly, Carmilla reappears and joins the fight, but Xenos tells her to stop. They only damaged the first floor, my floor. They haven't touched yours upstairs. Withdraw. Carmilla obeys and vanishes. Seeing that, Linga realizes just how powerful Xenos really is. She lowers her head and asks for forgiveness. The next morning, a strange beast enters the clinic. He looks at Xenos and says, my mistress, Lady Louie, wants to speak with you. So, who is this mysterious Lady Louie, and what does she want with Xenos? To find out, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Then Xenos says, I knew this would happen. After dealing with the lizardmen and werewolves, the orc group would appear. Their leader is of great importance and has amassed a vast fortune from mining monostones. A month has passed since the clinic opened, and after that, I will have dealt with the leaders of all the factions in the slums. Then he asks the orc, "Is it possible to reason with your leader?" The orc replies, "Lady Li Wei possesses both wisdom and majesty." Xenos says to himself, "That's good. Zofia has been sending luxurious gifts daily, and she even built a massive palace next to my clinic to compensate for the chaos she caused. But if the orc leader is reasonable, why didn't she come herself?" The orc explains, "There have been lizardmen and werewolves coming and going from this place, so she didn't come to a place in enemy territory. Also, her condition is critical, and she can't move." Xeno takes his coat and leaves with the orc. They arrive at Lady Li Wei's location. Li Wei welcomes him and says, "I've heard you're a star in the underworld of the slums, and the lizardmen and werewolves praise you highly. That's why I sought you out myself. I was told you can treat any condition as long as the reward is tempting." She tells him she can't move from her spot and asks, "Do you know why?" Xenos approaches her and uses magic to perform a preliminary examination. He sees no external injuries, so he looks inside her. He notices a red mass in her abdomen and senses mana within it. Li Wei tells him, "That's a mana stone enchanted with a powerful explosion spell. I mistook it for a rice ball and ate it." Xenos calls her foolish and says she'll get rid of it sooner or later without his help. She replies, "When I ate it, I chewed it partially, and there's not much time left before it explodes. If I move carelessly, it could explode at any moment." She offers him her entire fortune in exchange for removing the stone, as its explosion would mean the end of the orcs in the slums. She gives him the key. Xenos approaches her, uses his scalpel, stabs her abdomen, removes the stone, and heals her wound. Li Wei is amazed and says, "You're an incredible healer." They notice the stone is about to explode. Xenos places his hands on it. The stone explodes within his hands, but it doesn't affect him, as he used a defense spell to protect his hands. He returns the key to her and tells her he doesn't need her fortune, as he only asks for fair compensation for his work. Li Wei is very impressed by his character and tells him to ask for anything he needs, and she will help. She suggests they eat rice balls together, but Xenos advises her not to do that again. Xenos returns home and finds Lily sad because it means Zofia, Linga, and Li Wei will be visiting often. Xenos says, "You're right, Zofia visits on the day of the moon, Linga on the day of water, and Li Wei on the day of gold. They don't have any injuries, so why are they coming?" Suddenly, Carmala appears and tells him those girls come because they love him. Xenos says it's ridiculous. He's just an unlicensed underground healer. Carmela says she's been watching them, and their eyes betray them. They're in love with him. She says it's only a matter of time before the three factions start a war over Xenos. The next morning, Zofia comes to the clinic and tells Xenos she's thinking of declaring war on the others, asking, "Will you join them or be on my side?" Then Lady Linga comes and says the same thing, wanting him to join the werewolf pack. After that, Lady Li Wei comes and says the same thing. We see Xenos talking to Lily and Carmela, saying, "The fight is supposed to start at noon on the next Earth Day, and many will die because of this war." The time for the war arrives, and we see the three leaders in the arena threatening each other. Then Xenos comes and tells them he's not there to stop the fight, as he knows they have old grudges. He wants them to fight until they're satisfied. Zofia tells them they'll start fighting, and whoever survives wins Mr. Xenos. The three girls start fighting, and we see Zofia taking a slight lead. Then the armies start fighting too, and the battle lasts a long time. When the girls get injured, Xenos heals them, telling them he's there to ensure the fight continues. The girls realize Xenos has been healing them and the armies throughout the war, so no one has fallen. Xenos tells them that conflicts won't be resolved that way, that the war and revenge will never end. If they want to continue this war, he will continue to heal their wounds and charge them for it. The girls think about Xenos' words and agree with him. They resolve their differences and reconcile. Then we see Lily asking Xenos, "Why did you do all this?" Xenos tells her, "My teacher once told me that a third-degree healer treats wounds, a second-degree healer heals the whole person, and a first-degree healer fixes the world. He was an eccentric teacher, but amazing. And I learned from him how to improve conditions in the slum." Lily tells him she admires him very much and truly loves him. Xenos tells her he will take payment from the three girls and return home, as it took great effort to treat so many people, so he must be compensated. The next morning, we see Deputy Krishna with the commander, who tells her he's heard some disturbing rumors recently, and it seems the conflicts between the semi-human factions in the slums have subsided. Deputy Krishna is surprised, as the lizardmen, werewolves, and orcs have been fighting over territory for years, so it's hard to believe these rumors. The commander tells her, even if these rumors are only slightly true, I can't ignore them. The kingdom of Herzeth has prospered thanks to its strict hierarchical system, where the kings sit at the top and the citizens vent their frustrations on the poor. As the poor fight among themselves, especially between different races, the kingdom's balance is maintained. The king is like the sun to our people, and it's the royal knight's duty to protect the capital where he resides. Rumors indicate a third party intervened to resolve the conflict between the three factions. Deputy Krishna says, that's difficult, as the three leaders are very dangerous in the criminal world, and she can't imagine one person controlling them. He asks her to handle the matter, and she says she'll investigate and arrest such a person if found. Then we see Xenos and the girls, and Lily brings them tea. Xenos treats Zophia's hand, which she injured during her mission, as the royal knights were watching her, and she clashed with them last night. One of them injured her while she was infiltrating a noble's palace. Her brother Zendi tells them he was also injured by a crazy woman with a magic gun. Zofia tells them the woman is Deputy Krishna, a dangerous woman called the Iron Flower, who launches fierce attacks with a blank expression. Carmela tells them the deputy will be a problem if Xenos attracts her attention. Xenos asks, why would the Royal Knights care about a worthless underground healer like me? They don't know why. Xenos tells Lily he's hungry. Zofia suggests salad. Lee Mega suggests fish, and Lee Wei suggests meat. Xenos is surprised and tells them he didn't ask for their food suggestions and they won't eat with him and they should leave. The girls are sad, then Xenos tells them he's joking, and Lily cooks for everyone and they eat. Then we see Deputy Krishna in the neighborhood seeing all the faction members getting along, which surprises her. She approaches a lizardman and asks, why have things changed and the factions' relationships improved? The lizardman says he doesn't know her and won't talk about it, and he leaves. Deputy Krishna stops him, points her gun at his stomach, and threatens to kill him if he doesn't talk, asking who the mediator was. The lizard man says he'll never tell her. Zofia passes by and the lizard man calls out to her, but Deputy Krishna quickly flees. While running, she thinks Zofia and her brother's arms should have been irreparably damaged, but they seemed fully healed at a glance. How is this possible? Then we return to Xenos at the clinic, and Deputy Krishna enters, saying, I was in the slums and suddenly found myself in a deserted part of the city. I noticed someone in this house and decided to ask for help. Can you direct me back to the city? Lily appears and asks Xenos, do we have a patient? He tells her the girl isn't sick but lost. Deputy Krishna pulls out her gun, points it at Xenos, and shoots him. And so ends our episode of this anime. To follow more exciting events, please subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Bye! Then Krishna tells him that she didn't expect to encounter another target in a place like this, as she is currently working on a big case. She was following leads in the case of the disappearance of a number of children. She tells Lily that she knows she is not from the Xenos family because she is a human, and he is an elf, which means they are not the same family. She thinks it's a very cunning idea to set up a treatment center in a deserted neighborhood that no one passes through. Also, Xenos is accused of trafficking in half-bloods because he lives with an elf girl. Lily tells her that Xenos saved her and took her in, and he is not her kidnapper. She came to live with him after being homeless on the streets, and she was too quick to kill him. Krishna tells her that she didn't kill him. That bullet is designed to apprehend suspects, so it's not lethal, but he won't wake up for a while. She adds that her quick temper is her only weakness. Suddenly, Xenos speaks and says to her, didn't you just say that your only weakness is your bad sense of direction? Krishna is surprised and apologizes to him for judging him quickly, saying she is glad he is all right. She asks him how he didn't lose consciousness, and he tells her that he simply used a defensive spell. She tells him that's impossible, as defensive magic cannot stop her magical bullets. And then she approaches him, examines his body, and realizes that he is indeed unharmed. She realizes that he is a great and famous mage who has dedicated his life to defensive magic since childhood. Then she introduces herself, telling him she is Deputy Commander Krishna of the Royal Knights First Order, and asks if he would like to join her investigation. And they talk together. Krishna tells him that she came on a secret mission to locate and apprehend a specific person. Xenos asks her how she can share such secret matters with him. Krishna tells him that she trusts him and wouldn't get his cooperation if she didn't share some details, and that it is every citizen's duty to cooperate with the Royal Knights First Order. Then he asks her who she is looking for, and she tells him she is looking for the mediator who ended the conflict between the factions in the poor neighborhoods. Xenos becomes very nervous. She tells him that since she is a guardian of the Order, she cannot overlook the emergence of a person who possesses such power, but she cannot obtain any information from the Half-Bloods, and even if she pressured them, whoever this mediator is, he is skilled at controlling people. Actions like these leave no doubt that he is certainly a servant of the devil. He asks her how she knows that, and perhaps that mediator simply doesn't want to attract attention and wants to stay out of the spotlight, so it's better to leave him alone and not look for him. Krishna asks him angrily if he knows the mediator. Xenos becomes nervous and tells her, No, I don't know him. This is just my hunch. Krishna tells him that a person capable of uniting the poor factions like this could pose a threat to the entire kingdom over time. Lily tells her that the matter is not that big, and perhaps that mediator is somewhat obsessed with money, but in reality, he just doesn't like seeing people suffer before his eyes. Krishna becomes suspicious of her and asks her, Do you know who the mediator is, you elf girl? Lily also becomes nervous and tells her that she doesn't know anything. He tells her that this is a note that will guide her back to the city and to leave that mediator alone. Krishna then asks him if he wants to get rid of her in any way. She apologizes and leaves. While leaving the house, Krishna notices a bed, and Xenos tells her it's an extra bed he brought there to get rid of. Then, Krishna asks him if she can stay with them in the house until she finishes her mission, as she is having difficulty finding a suitable base of operations. This way, she will be close to the poor neighborhoods without attracting attention, and she will pay him for her stay until she can find that mediator and arrest him herself. Xenos is forced to agree so as not to arouse suspicion. They sit together and Lily offers her tea. Then Lily asks Xenos to hug her before going to sleep. When he hugs her, Krishna looks at them in astonishment. Carmilla appears behind Xenos, disguised so Krishna won't see her, and tells Xenos that Krishna is jealous of his relationship with Lily. Xenos sees that as nonsense. Why would Krishna be jealous of Lily? Carmilla tells him that she has no intention of accepting this arrogant, annoying woman who shot him with a magic bullet, and that she is contradictory between her gloomy mood and her delicate tongue. Then Lily tries to make Krishna even more jealous and starts paying attention to Xenos, asking him if he wants her to blow on his tea to cool it down or feed him the apple in his mouth or comb his hair. Then Lily goes to sleep and Xenos takes her to her room and returns to Krishna. Krishna asks him if he knows the slave traders who used to kidnap the girl Lily. He tells her that he doesn't know them and asks her if that's why she shot him. Krishna apologizes to him and tells him that the area has seen an increase in child abductors, so she thought he was Lily's kidnapper. Then she asks him if someone mastered healing magic as he mastered defensive magic, would they be able to regenerate an entire arm? That is impossible for ordinary healers unless they are a saint or one of the few top-level secret healers. Then she tells him that in her battle with Zofia the Hurricane, her arm was severely damaged, but when she saw her later with her follower in the poor neighborhoods, their arms were completely healed. So if there is someone who can heal this type of injury, then his words, and tells him that she will begin her investigations tomorrow and will arrest that mediator. Then Xenos asks her what makes her feel so threatened by the poor neighborhoods. Krishna tells him that her mother was killed by one of the residents of the poor neighborhoods. Her mother was a very kind woman who used to visit the poor neighborhoods daily to feed the hungry, but one night they killed her to steal her wedding ring, and no one saved her. That's why Krishna decided to become an invincible hero, capable of bringing justice to the criminals of the poor neighborhoods so that no one would suffer her mother's fate again. She became the youngest deputy commander in the history of the Royal Knights, and people called her the Iron Rose for her steadfastness in performing her duties. The next morning, we see Zofia with Xenos at the house. He tells them that Krishna left early in the morning and told him she would return at night. Carmilla tells him to smile a little, as she doesn't like that gloomy atmosphere charged with negative thoughts. Then Xenos treats Zofia, but suddenly Krishna returns early and sees Zofia. She asks him what she is doing here, takes out her weapon, and points it at her. Lily tells her that Zofia got lost and ended up here. Zofia tells her that she was lost and looking for the right direction. Krishna asks her what happened to her injured arm and if the mediator healed her. Zofia tells her that it's none of her business and that she heard the Royal Knights are investigating a child trafficking network. But does Krishna know that one of the nobles runs that network and uses the poor neighborhoods as just a front to deflect suspicion? Krishna asks her which noble she is accusing. Zofia tells her she means Kalendor. Krishna doesn't believe her and tells her that Kalendor is a philanthropist who is enthusiastic about educating orphans Zofia tells her that's just a superficial view and that the mediator who brought the poor neighborhoods together is not evil but a man who loves good and helping others, and that all evil does not originate from the poor neighborhoods. Then Xenos steps forward and stands in front of the gun, telling her that he will not move because Zofia is his patient and that he is the mediator. Krishna doesn't believe him and tells him that he specializes in defensive magic, but that the mediator specializes in healing magic, and it's impossible for him to master both to such a high level. Xenos tells her that he is not a master, and that both defense and healing are related to strengthening the body's natural functions, so they are fundamentally similar. Krishna tells him that she didn't know that, and won't believe he is the mediator, but he has taken the side of the half-bloods in the mediator, so she will leave and find another place to start her work. Then Lily looks outside the house and tells them that Krishna is heading in the opposite direction from the poor neighborhoods. Then Krishna goes to Lord Kalendor's palace and asks him if he has received any reports of thieves being active in the area recently. He tells her that he heard something about a gang of lizard men thieves. She tells him that they are strengthening security in the area and would be grateful if he and the other nobles were more careful, and asks him to conduct a security assessment of his palace. Kalendor tells her that's a great idea, but if she had told him beforehand, he would have prepared better. She tells him that surprise inspections are more effective. And then they walk around the palace together, and Krishna says to herself, Zofia the Hurricane claimed that Lord Kalendor is the mastermind behind the child kidnapping organization, but my being here is just a waste of time? When the palace tour ends, Krishna tells him that the palace is very secure. Then she asks to use the restroom before leaving. While leaving, Krishna realizes that Lord Kalendor has a large number of guards. He is in the upper middle rank among the aristocrats, which is very strange. What is also suspicious is the way those guards are distributed. The back entrance has a much larger number of guards than the front. Then she sees the well, goes down into it, and sees many kidnapped children imprisoned. Then she speaks to the children and tries to calm them down, telling them that she will save them and that she is a hero of justice. But suddenly, Krishna is attacked from behind and injured in the arm. Lord Kalendor turns on the lights and tells her that he is very impressed with the magic guns used by the royal knights, and that it was a mistake for her to interfere in the affairs of the nobles. Her job now is to remain silent. Krishna feels sadness and offense because she cannot save the children and will not become a true hero. When the Lord was about to kill her, Zofia the Hurricane appears with Xenos and tells Krishna that she is always so hasty. The Lord asks them who they are. Xenos tells him that he is just an ordinary healer of no importance. The Lord tells them that they are scum, and he will kill them now and no one will suspect anything if people from the poor neighborhoods are killed. Then he fires at Xenos, but he is surprised that Xenos is not affected by anything. Then Xenos approaches him, and the Lord is afraid and falls to the ground. Xenos points the gun at him, and the Lord apologizes and begs for forgiveness. Xenos refuses and points the gun at him, firing, but he doesn't die, he was only punishing him. Then he approaches Krishna and tells her that he didn't kill him, and that judging him is not his job. Krishna asks him to report what happened to the royal knights because her mission is over. Xenos tells her that she is in charge of the mission, approaches her injured arm, uses healing magic, and heals it. Krishna is amazed by Xenos' healing abilities and sees that her arm has completely healed. She believes then that he is the mediator and apologizes to him for what happened, saying that a truly ideal person is someone like him. Xenos tells her that there is no ideal person, and whoever fights for something will be wounded in one way or another, and that's why people need healers like him. He tells her that she is the real hero for those kidnapped children. Then Krishna approaches the children and tells them to rest assured, as she will save them immediately. The children rejoice and thank her. Xenos tells her that she is the hero. Krishna tells him that she has become a true hero, like her mother, who used to help the poor and cries a lot. Then the children are brought out of the well. When Xenos is about to leave, Krishna asks him, "Why did you save me, Mr. Xenos?" Xenos looks at her and says, "Unpaid bills. Didn't you say you would pay for using the clinic bed? If I had died, I wouldn't have been able to collect the money. And now I will add your treatment fees to the amount, so make sure to pay it all at once." Krishna laughs and tells him that she agrees, and smiles as she hasn't smiled in a long time. And so ends our episode today of that anime. To watch more episodes, please subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to receive all new content. The next morning, we see Xenos with Layla, and she suggests they drink tea. Xenos tells her he looks forward to drinking tea made by her. Then we see events from the past where Xenos is sitting alone and Aston approaches him, asking what he's doing there and why he isn't adventuring with them. Xenos tells him he has nothing to do because he heard that residents of poor neighborhoods can't become adventurers. Aston tells him that if he's motivated and has skill, his background doesn't matter, and asks if there's anything he's good at. Xenos replies that he knows a little about healing magic, surprising Aston because people from low-income backgrounds usually can't afford such education. Aston asks him to join his group. Then Xenos joins Aston and heals him while he fights monsters. We return to the present and see Aston with his adventurer friends as they arrive at this place. Aston tells them this is their chance to gain the favor of one of the 7 great nobles, but it seems like a waste of effort. His friend tells him he's still drunk from last night's wine, and the others suggest they finish their work here immediately and go to the city. Suddenly, wild wolves appear before them and a fight breaks out. Aston orders his friend Gale to prepare a defensive spell. Gale prepares the spell and turns it into a solid shield that blocks all damage. Then Aston attacks with his sword, but a wolf shoots fire and burns his arm. Another wolf bites one of the adventurers in the neck. Andrews tries to cast a spell to eliminate the wolf, and Gale also tries to cast a spell, but it doesn't work. Andrus realizes they are useless and decides to retreat. They all leave the cave, and Aston is angry with them for failing against rank B magical beasts. Gale wonders if Xenos was healing them with magic without their knowledge during monster fights, which is why they always won. Aston tells them that's unbelievable, and they need to hire a real healer, not a useless village healer like Xenos. 10 days later, they arrive at that place with a girl named Omen. Aston asks her to prove her worth. Omen tells him not to raise his expectations too high, as she usually heals in the capital and only happens to have an adventurer's license. Then she asks them why the Golden Phoenix group, known for emerging from battles without a scratch, needs the support of a mid-level healer like her. Aston tells her they have various circumstances and asks about Yoma and if he will be okay. She tells him he will survive, but she doesn't think he'll be able to adventure again. Aston says this proves he wasn't up to the level of the Golden Phoenix, so his loss won't make a difference. Gale will handle defense, he will attack, and Andrus will finish the battle with offensive magic. Lord Phenol wants a Firefox Charger as a gift for his daughter, and he won't miss this opportunity to gain the favor of the upper class. Then, they enter the cave, and the firewolves attack them again. The wolves shoot fire at them, injuring Andrus, and Aston can't hit any of them. Omen tries to heal Andrus and tells Aston that his condition will worsen if he's not treated properly. Aston decides to retreat again and goes outside the cave, angry with Gale for not using his defensive magic effectively. He orders Omen to heal Andrus immediately. She tells him she needs to determine the type of damage before casting a spell, but he needs a hospital equipped with specialized magical circuits. Even the most skilled healers wouldn't be able to treat him in these conditions. Only the elite of the elite could. Aston realizes then that ever since they kicked Xenos out of their group, they've always come out injured. He asks her if there's a healer with extraordinary healing abilities who doesn't have a license. Almost surprised by this question because that's forbidden. Then we see Aston standing before Lord Fenel's assistant. The assistant tells them to leave immediately and not come back, as Lord Fenel doesn't want them. Aston begs him to give them another chance, but the assistant tells them that Lady's rebirth has already passed. Lord Fenel's disappointment isn't just due to their failure in the hunt. If they had told him from the beginning that they would fail, he could have avoided the embarrassment of not presenting a gift to his daughter. Aston tells him there was a traitor among them, that the despicable Xylos was the one who hindered them. Then Aston realizes he shouldn't have mentioned Xylos' name because he's from the poor neighborhoods and it's impossible for him to have been a former member of their group. He backs away from the conversation and begs him to give them another chance, saying he will form a new team and complete the mission. Then we see Aston with Gale, and Gale asks him what he intends to do by saying that as they have no leads to start with, Aston tells him he will make Xylost return to their group, and Xylost will cry with gratitude as soon as he extends his hand to him. Xenos is just a slave who wouldn't dream of being in their group again. Aston decides he will exploit Xenos once more to revive their group. Then we see Gale walking in the city, telling Aston that he feels Xenos is dead and no longer exists. Aston tells him Xenos is still alive. He gave him a gold coin as a severance bonus, and Xenos almost cried at his great generosity. Gale asks how they will find him. Aston tells him he will hire the 3 leaders of the half-humans to help them, as people like them always know everything that happens in the poor areas. Then Aston and Gale go to Zofia. Aston introduces himself as the leader of the Golden Phoenix, a gold-ranked adventurer group, and asks her to look for someone for him named Xenos, who has been in the poor neighborhoods for 2 months. Zofia laughs heartily and asks if they are the group of fools who kicked the doctor out of their group, saying they are indeed fools. She tells him that Xenos has no time to waste on their nonsense, and she has no intention of humoring a fool like him. Aston gets angry and leaves. He goes to Linga, and when she finds out who they are, she refuses to help them and asks them to leave her premises immediately. Aston gets angry, and Linga challenges him, asking if he wants a fight, but she doesn't have time to waste with these foolish idiots. They leave, talking to themselves, wondering what's happening to them. Then they reach Leo, who tells them, well, I know you. You're the trash who expelled Mr. Xenos. Why are you looking for him now after everything you did? Get out of here. And don't talk to me again. Here, Aston, and thinks all the leaders of the 3 cleanest gangs love Xenos. This is impossible. Maybe it's another person named Xenos. It's impossible that the Xenos with us before was him. At that moment, Xenos passes by from the back street with Laylaw. Aston sees him and runs after him quickly, calling out, Xenos! Xenos! Xenos remembers them and recognizes Aston and Gale. Aston addresses him arrogantly with great pride, saying, hello, you pathetic guy. It seems you somehow survived. Xenos replies, what do you want? Why are you here? They tell him they came to him, but he turns away and says, I'm not interested in you, and I'm very busy now. Then he leaves them. Aston says, wait, I've been looking for you everywhere. Be happy. You should be happy. I'll take you back to the Golden Phoenix squad. No need to cry from gratitude. I know you want to come back, and you don't even need to kiss my feet. His words are full of sarcasm. But Xenos' reply shocks Aston. He says, I don't want anything from you. Xenos doesn't care about that squad anymore and completely rejects the offer. The reason is clear. The treatment was terrible. The pay was almost non-existent. No profits to mention. Nothing at all. It's only natural to refuse. Aston gets angry and says, but I'm the one offering you to come back now, and I'm the one who searched for you everywhere. Xenos replies, if you're that desperate, I don't mind accompanying you on one mission when my circumstances allow, but I'm very busy now. Also, you will pay me properly. The required amount is $50,000, 0 cents for each healing spell, $1 million if it's a critical injury, and 3 times that if I need to use protection or strengthening magic, and I won't give you any discount. Aston fumes. Don't be so arrogant, you fool. You never deserved a place here in the first place. At that moment, someone calls out, hey, Dr. Xenos? Hello, how are you? Xenos reassures him, hello, how's your leg now? He replies, it's in perfect condition. Then everyone turns to Xenos, but he completely ignores Aston and Gale. The other man gets angry and furious, saying, come with me. I'm the one who will take you in. Xenos says, it's too late, and leaves. But Aston doesn't remain silent. He draws his sword from its sheath and tries to attack Xenos. But his friend Krishna saves him, saying, how dare you attack someone in front of my eyes? Then she fires a shot at Aston. The Xenos asks her, why did you come here? And she tells him, I came here to see you. At that moment, Aston gets up again and asks her, who are you? But she ignores him and says to Xenos, shut up, you idiot. I'm taking you to the nearest police station now for attempted assault. Aston protests, why? It's not what it looks like. I didn't want to do that, but he forced me. Then he runs away quickly. The scene now shifts to Xenos and his group. They are talking about the squad that expelled him. They searched for him and came to him, and now they are looking everywhere for them, but they couldn't track them down. Maybe they went deep somewhere, or to the Shadow Syndicate. It's a syndicate that takes on forbidden tasks, the deepest point at the bottom. Even their kind, the near humans, don't mess with them. They do anything for the right price. Drug deals, assassinations, revenge by proxy, dark magic, everything. Xenos needs to be very careful. After half an hour of talking and discussions, everyone leaves except for this half who is thinking. Lila comes to him and asks, why haven't you slept? Are you still thinking about it? He says yes. She suggests then you want some tea so you can think more and more. He drinks the tea and then sits with Carmelia, who tells him, I'm worried about you. He tells her she is kind-hearted and he is very happy that she is drinking tea with him now. Then he speaks to her saying, actually, I had forgotten about Aston and the others, but after this thinking, I regret not beating him more. But I was thinking about something older than that. But Carmelia tells him a story from 300 years ago during the war between human and demons. There was still a demon king who used a special magic stone as a core and added carbon, sulfur, and other ingredients to create the giant ghouls. They were huge monsters who felt no pain or fear and performed tasks tirelessly, which made them truly terrifying. Xenos asks, "And what were you doing 300 years ago?" She replies, "That was a long time ago," but before she can finish speaking, something strange happens, perhaps a commotion in the place. Carmelia goes out quickly to see what's going on and is surprised that the person they were talking about has appeared now. What will happen next? You must subscribe to the channel and hit the bell button to receive all the new updates. The scene opens with two peculiar individuals. One says to the other, "I'm showing you this place because you can't afford it. I know that very well. But no matter, I'm not doing this just for money. You can call me a guide, understand? It's simply that you want to hire someone to carry out your revenge. And not just against one person, but their associates too. So it's an organization, a group of people, maybe 3 or more. But can you tell me the reason for this revenge?" The reason is very important. The Shadow Syndicate members don't care much as long as they get paid, but for me, the motive is paramount. If you don't want to disclose it, let's consider our agreement completely void. As the other person reveals the reason for their revenge, the first man laughs and says, "This doesn't seem like real revenge, but rather an outlet for pent-up emotions. Perhaps you don't have friends, most likely, but in the end, as long as you pay me, I will help you." We then return to the enormous monster attacking the city. Finally, Xenos arrives and exclaims, "What is this monster? Is it a golem?" Camellia also appears to witness the scene while Layla remains asleep. At that moment, the other squad leaders, whom Xenos had been treating, arrive. Unfortunately, many of Ning's followers are severely injured and unable to move. Also present is the half-orc. Xenos wonders, what exactly is this beast? Perhaps it's a type of artificial being from a very ancient time, but we don't know where it came from, why it's here, or its destination. Xenos then speculates, perhaps that person came from the poor neighborhoods and has ties to the Shadow Syndicate. He quickly orders them to gather all the injured in one place, declaring, "Whoever is behind this will pay a heavy price." He observes this monster's destructive power is immense, but it doesn't have enough mobility. It's relatively slow. We then see the person from the Forbidden Shadow Syndicate who remarks, "That's the powerful beast. I wonder what Xenos feels now as his friends are killed one after another." But this is just the beginning of the first round. On the other hand, the situation worsens, with many people injured. However, Xenos' full medical power lies in treating these individuals, and he is indeed capable of doing so, yet. He is very worried about Layla and extremely angry at the person behind all of this. At that moment, the mysterious figure stands atop a hill, observing Xenos through binoculars. He is greatly surprised, realizing that Xenos is from the elite squad, perhaps even surpassing their level. He thinks, "But you saved the wounded, what about the beast?" We will witness this with our own. Meanwhile, Xenos speaks to his group. Everyone gives him a comprehensive report, and thankfully, no one has died. Camellia asks, the most important question is, how did someone obtain a high-purity magic stone, which is the core component of a golem, especially since these stones only exist in the far south, where the palace of the cursed demon Lord Iblis was located. Moreover, most of them were consumed during the war between humans and monsters. Furthermore, the Black Magic organization has been lost for generations, and even the remaining components for such a creature are difficult to find. After all these questions, Xenos tells them, speculation is useless now. I will go and destroy this monster, but everyone gathers around him and says, we are with you and will never leave you. However, to defeat that monster, the magic stone that forms its core and heart must be destroyed. Otherwise, it will continue to regenerate repeatedly. The fight begins and Xenos enhances their agility. They begin attacking it directly, but it regenerates very quickly. Xenos empowers them further, making them faster and stronger, enabling them to attack it. The monster also fights them from a distance. Until its magical power is complete, despite their similarities, their activation is different, and he cannot use them all at once. He must protect them until they begin their attack, then enhance them, and immediately treat any injuries they sustain. At that moment, the monster can regenerate its severed fingers, and Xenos understands what needs to be done. The golem needs time to regenerate itself. So, Xenos orders his friends Sophia and Linnea to crush both of its legs simultaneously. Sophia agrees, overjoyed, as she never imagined fighting alongside them. This is all thanks to Mr. Xenos. At that moment, the golem begins to fall to the ground, but they are surprised to see a child near it. Xenos becomes very tense as he won't be able to save the child with defensive spells, which require high precision and cannot be cast on someone he cannot see. But fortunately for the girl, the monster falls in a different direction. Glaciage wins the second round. At that moment, Carmilla approaches Xenos, telling him that the golem only follows simple commands and couldn't do something like that. Moreover, its transformation into a more terrifying form when she fought it was strange in itself. He replies that he will assume someone tried to create life from an incomplete magic stone. What options would they have then? Carmilla cannot answer him. He tells her that he has finished examining the golem. The magic stone is on the left side of its chest. He then suspects it's Eston. As the incomplete magic stone was fused with a living human, the fusion between a magic stone and a human produces a new type of core, but humans are difficult to control. Therefore, the ideal choice was a simple person overwhelmed by intense negative emotions. Then all he did was explain to him that the magic stone was necessary to achieve his revenge. After it was implanted inside him, the golem was manufactured, and he and the magic stone became one entity. After that, Xenos asks his friends to move away from him and the golem, but they refuse because if they leave him, the golem will regenerate again. Linnea is still capable of fighting, and they can handle the front lines. Xenos tells them that what he said is the smartest option. Healers should not fight on the front lines. This was one of the phrases his teacher used to repeat most often. Considering this, he is the one who must finish this matter with it. At that moment, Carmilla excuses herself because she is not a fan of the sun and dawn is about to break. She tells Xenos that she will be waiting for him and will prepare a cup of tea for him. After that, only Xenos and Eston remain. Xenos asks him how a person as annoying and selfish as him could save a child. This is very strange. But he once heard Gale say that the reason for his obsession with money and power was that Eston's younger sister died because he didn't have the money for her medicine. It's possible that this child reminded him of her. He knows that his anger is still present because he found a new place to belong after someone took his hand and then abandoned him. The golem becomes angrier and tries to strike Xenos, but Xenos manages to escape. Then he strikes it several times and the golem falls to the ground. Eston appears and Xenos tells him that today will be the last time he sees his face, and then he kills him instantly. At that moment, the young man who is observing him sees him fighting with less hesitation than expected. But considering what he went through, this is quite normal. This is the end of Eston, but suddenly the golem moves again. We see Xenos striking the monster repeatedly. He says, "This man heals and destroys at the same time. He severs the parts fused with the magic stone, then gradually repairs the remaining human tissues. If he cuts too much, Eston will die. He will hesitate, and the magic stone will fuse again with the regenerating body." All this after he treated hundreds of injured people and helped the demi-humans in the battle. Despite everything, he maintains his precision and focus to extract the magic stone. Then, Xenos speaks to Eston, saying, "To be honest, the world might have been better off without you. It would certainly be better for me. You realize how much all this destruction will cost, and since you're broke, your partner will also bear the bill. You won't die before you confess who incited you to do this. That's the first reason. The second is that you are a worthless nobody, but you did two good things for me. You got me out of the poor neighborhoods and gave me my severance pay. That single gold coin, it allowed me to save Layla, who in turn led me to open the clinic, and my life changed. And the most important thing that keeps me from ending you immediately is that I am a healer." Then Xenos attacks him and shatters the magic crystal. Eston is astonished and says, "I have lost everything, and yet you ask me to live? This is your revenge. I saw how you supported the demi-humans despite the prejudice. Didn't you do the same thing to us before? I spent my life exploiting others only to be exploited in the end. I know that nothing I say will change anything, but I had to say it." Xenos tells him, "Now that you've regained your senses, I no longer need to suppress my power. Ability enhancement, tenfold arm strength. I saved enough mana to deliver this blow. The biggest reason I'm keeping you alive is that I wouldn't feel satisfied punching you unconscious." Then Xenos strikes him, and he loses consciousness. After that, Kirchner speaks to Eston. "I came after reports of a monster attack. This is the second time I've encountered you. You have unbelievable audacity after the way you escaped last time. Xenos told me everything. It's a miracle the destruction of this scale occurred without a single fatality. You will owe Mr. Xenos a debt for the rest of your life. You are under arrest for attempted assault, evading justice, perjury, indirect revenge, inciting chaos, property damage, and numerous other crimes. Prepare to receive a punishment that fits your actions. And Xenos leaves a message for him saying, I took your sword while you were unconscious. It's one of the finest pieces from the lower labyrinth, so it will sell for a good price. It should be enough to compensate for the damages you caused. And since I'm the one who found it, it's time for me to take it back. This is your severance pay. I don't want to have anything to do with you anymore. Eston says, I have lost everything. I have nothing left. Then Eston cries when she tells him everything about Xenos. The scene then shifts to Xenos, who is very tired. He says to the girls, you are probably as tired as I am. One of the girls tells him, you always take care of me, so it's time for me to return the favor. It's only natural for us to repay your kindness. In fact, I'd prefer to be closer to you. Then the young man says, I think I should disappear for a while. I'm sure you'll cross my path again someday. We will have another round. I will never forget you. They go home and find Carmilla waiting for them, very worried about Xenos. She was pacing all over the house. They welcome him back home and are happy to have him with them. This concludes today's episode of This Anime. Stay tuned for the next episodes. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all the latest updates. Then we see Zane's bathing and talking to himself, saying that the plan was to work quietly and stealthily as a healer in the shadows, but it seems things have become noisier than he expected. However, he is very happy to have come here. The next morning, we see Krishna telling Zanes that the investigation into the mastermind behind the golem attack hasn't yielded much. All she has been able to confirm is that it's someone who calls himself the Guide, and there's no clear trace of him yet. The place where they met that man was deserted. Zofia tells them that she investigated herself, and this man started visiting the Shadow Guild recently and was always alone. Limga tells them that she investigated and reached the same information. Krishna then tells them that the Knights of the Kingdom will continue to pursue him as a dangerous target, so he must appear soon. The girls start thinking about the matter, and each one gives her opinion. Krishna tells them, if only you half-humans wouldn't speak with random guesses. I appreciate your help, but those guesses are not confirmed. Rather, it's a personal deduction. Xenos tells them to be quiet for a moment and not to argue. Then he kicks everyone out of the clinic and sits at his desk with Lily. Lily suggests that they go to the hot springs for a change of scenery. Suddenly, Zofia enters and suggests that they go to the hot springs together as well, then leaves. Linga enters next and makes the same suggestion. Then Lo and Krishna enter and make the same suggestion. Zeus agrees that they will all go to the hot springs together. Then Carmilla appears and tells him that she will go with them too. Then we see Zines and the girls eating together, but Krishna sits away from them. He asks her why she hasn't joined them. Krishna tells him that it's very difficult for the Guardian of Order himself to be in such a situation. She never imagined she would go on vacation with half-humans. Then Zine wonders about Carmilla. Lily tells him that she said she would have a drink in her room to relax. So Zine goes to her. He tells her that he left the girls because of the loud noises and that he wants to relax. Then Zeno asks her, how did you get here? I assumed you couldn't stay in the sun for long. Carmilla tells him that she inhabited the staff that Lily was carrying, and thus she could move with them anywhere, easily. Then they have a drink together. The next morning we see an explosion there, and we see the girl Yume asking the lady what happened. The lady tells her that her husband was preparing breakfast, and when he went to the kitchen, she heard the sound of that explosion. It seems the fiery magic stones exploded. Then Yume tries to heal the husband, but she realizes that the husband needs a large amount of magical energy to be completely healed. Then Xenos appears and asks them what happened here. He approaches the husband and heals him easily, then leaves with Lily. The girl Yume is very surprised by Xenos' power. Then, Yume goes to Dr. Baker and tells him about Zine, that there is a healer with extraordinary power in treating burns, and tells him what happened. Her superior tells her that they will look for him because he wants to meet him. Then we see Zines in the clinic, and Zondi enters with a patient and tells Zines that the man vomited a large amount of blood and then collapsed. Then we see that the patient is Dr. Baker. He is placed on the bed, and Xenos examines him and discovers that he has red lung disease. He tells Lily and Zondi to stay away from him because this epidemic is killing many. But Xenos is surprised because red lung disease disappeared a while ago thanks to the cure, so why has it appeared again now? Then suddenly the patient wakes up and says to Xenos, "This is an accurate diagnosis. I am honored to meet you, secret healer from the abandoned serpent. I am an elite healer from the Royal Arnardo Hospital, Baker." Xenos is surprised and asks him, "Do you really have red lung disease?" Suddenly, the girl Yume enters and is surprised when she sees Dr. Baker with the healer Xenos, and asks him, "How could you deliberately infect yourself with this disease and then ask me to follow you to this clinic?" Then he tells them that he took a drug that gives the same symptoms as red lung disease, but he has the antidote, and he drinks it. Xenos asks him how he made that cure. Dr. Baker tells him that he is a professional in making cures, and that he is the one who makes the cure to eradicate red lung disease. Then Dr. Baker offers him a job as a healer in the Royal Hospital. Xenos is very surprised, and Baker tells him that they have a problem they are facing now, and wants someone from outside the system to handle it. Then the girls enter and tell Xenos that when they saw the red flag on the clinic, they came immediately. Xenos realizes that Carmela did this when she sensed danger in the clinic. The girls object to Xenos going with Dr. Baker, but Xenos tells them that he agrees to go and work with him in the Royal Hospital. Dr. Baker is happy and makes an agreement with Xenos. And so ends our episode today of That Anime. To watch more episodes, please subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Our episode begins with Xenos arriving at the Royal Hospital, deeply impressed by the building's beauty and grandeur. Dr. Baker informs him that he'll still get lost as the place is vast. As they head to his office, Xenos asks if there aren't darker, more humid rooms, as the immense openness makes him dizzy. Inside Dr. Baker's office, the doctor explains Xenos' mission to search for missing people. Xenos protests, stating it's not his specialty. Dr. Baker reassures him, saying he only needs to wander around and gather information. Moreover, unlike regular students, special research students, through recommendations, have the privilege of attending various programs at the Royal Hospital, which will facilitate his information gathering. Xenos then asks what he should do if his true identity is discovered. Dr. Baker explains that his new name will be Xeno, as he will be a recent arrival from abroad. This will be sufficient, as security matters become easier when an elite healer like Dr. Baker vouches for him. However, if he makes any mistakes, he will be solely responsible, as Dr. Baker was his recomender. Amon and Xenos then go to his room, where Lily welcomes them. Amon tells him that Dr. Baker allowed Lily to stay, as housing regulations permit relatives and close associates to co-reside. They've arranged for Lily to be Xenos' younger sister. Xenos thanks her, relieved he won't have to leave Lily alone. Amon then leaves, and Carmilla appears. Xenos asks her what she's doing there, and if she considered the risk of them all being expelled if she's discovered, given the number of healers present. Carmilla retorts that few possess his type of healing magic, making him difficult to give up easily. Xeno goes to eat, and Amon asks him about the introductory session. Xeno says he doesn't know how to obtain a regular healer's license. She explains the process. First, one applies to take the entrance exam for the healer preparatory school. If they pass, they spend several years studying there, followed by the healer's exam. Success in this exam grants them a license. Afterward, they may be assigned to a Royal Hospital branch or receive an adventurer's license for field work, directly for nobles, or join the military. To begin working and build a reputation, they can undergo evaluation and advance in rank. Xeno asks if this is where all these matters are handled. She clarifies that most students here are either conducting research, furthering their education, seeking to learn advanced healing techniques, or working as administrative staff. She then shows him a list of missing persons. The first name is Alfred, one of her senior colleagues. He's an advanced healer, the laboratory's vice president, highly talented, kind, and considerate. Dr. Baker even said he was a key figure in developing the red lung disease cure, and they have no lead on his whereabouts. Professor Goldtran, the Royal Hospital's deputy director and a 7th class advanced healer, then enters. Omin explains that each level of healing, beginner, intermediate, and advanced, is divided into 7 subclasses. 7th class is the highest advanced level before reaching the elite healer rank. This deputy is a candidate for the next director position, as the current director takes many vacations due to old age. Therefore, real authority now lies with Deputy Goldran. Since he took charge, many changes have occurred at the hospital, benefiting the wealthy while neglecting other patient categories. Xeno tells her he'll stay away from him. Omen objects, stating, "There's a possibility Professor Goldran is involved in Alfred's disappearance." The professor sought to gather as many talents as possible under his wing and summoned Alfred under the pretext of a loan from their laboratory. Dr. Baker agreed because the professor contributed financially to the production of the Red Lung cure, and Alfred was very enthusiastic. However, he disappeared after only 1 month. When questioned, the professor claimed ignorance. Almond tells Xeno that once he proves his competence in the various programs, the professor will contact him directly, providing an opportunity to get closer to him. Then, the young man Kristen appears and starts bothering Omen, demanding she leave immediately, as he doesn't want her there. Omen gets angry, and Kristen informs her that he's part of Goldbrand's group and has the right to order her around. He then looks at Xenos mockingly and asks, "Are you the new special student?" Xeno ignores him. Kristen leaves, and Xeno also departs. We return to the present, finding Xeno in class. The day's topic is the undead. As the lesson begins, Xeno realizes he already knows much of what's being taught from his old adventures, but the systematic presentation makes it easier to understand. A student asks about wraiths. The teacher explains that little is known about these creatures, as they are among the most formidable types of undead. This is due to 2 reasons. First, the scarcity of reliable accounts from encounters, and second, most teams that have faced them haven't survived. They are extremely dangerous creatures. The teacher then asks if anyone has ever fought the undead. Kristen stands up, stating he was an adventurer for several years and managed to defeat about 30 ghosts. He then turns to Xeno and asks if he's ever fought the undead. Xeno replies that he's also killed about 30, as he frequently visited the lower labyrinth, where he encountered many ghosts. All the students are surprised and start asking him many questions about the labyrinth. Kriston approaches Xeno as the teacher begins his lecture on healing magic circles. The teacher asks if anyone would like to come forward and draw their best magic circle. Kristen steps up and draws a magic circle. The teacher asks him if he wants to join his laboratory, but Kristen declines, stating he works with Professor Goldrand. He then tells the teacher that Xeno also wishes to draw a magic circle. Xeno steps forward and draws a magic circle. When he finishes, Kristen mocks him, but the teacher is greatly surprised when he sees it. He tells Xeno that this magic circle surpasses the limits of ordinary healing magic, as the 4 directions are defined by infinite loop rings. Xenos explains that the circle is indeed strange. For example, if a patient loses several fingers, one might grow back randomly. The teacher immediately asks him to join his lab, which greatly angers Kristen. We then see Professor Goldrand. His assistant informs him that there's a new and interesting person at the hospital named Zemo. Another assistant enters and reports recurring sightings of undead in the Sola Cemetery. The professor instructs them to send the new student, Zemo. If he proves as strong as rumored, he might find a place among them in the hospital. We then see Xeno in his room with Lily and Carmilla. He tells them he's going to fight the undead. The girls express their deep concern for him. He then begins to eat, and Lily tells them she prepared the delicious food. All the students are then seen at the cemetery, led by Kristen. Everyone begins attacking the undead. Xeno stands far away observing them. We see the undead multiplying rapidly around the students. Xenos uses his magical power and easily eliminates all the undead. Kristen seizes the opportunity, telling all the students that the magic spell was his doing. Amon tells him that's a lie and that Xenos was the one who did it. Kristen dismisses this as impossible, claiming a new student couldn't have done that. He tells his friends to hurry and report their success and his contribution to killing the undead to the teachers. Everyone leaves. As Kristen departs, Xeno tells him that the undead haven't been completely vanquished. Suddenly, an explosion occurs in the ground and a large monster, the Zombie King, appears. All the students plead with Kristen to save them and use a powerful spell to defeat the monster. Xeno also takes advantage of this, telling Kristen that he will not intervene and will let him defeat the monster. Kristen becomes very frightened and calls for reinforcements from his friends. Kristen begins to confront the monster, casting a spell, but it has no effect. The monster starts attacking Kristen, striking him with a powerful blow and throwing him to the ground. It then grabs him and lifts him up. As it's about to devour him, Xenos casts a very large magic spell on the monster, instantly destroying it and saving Kristen. This concludes our episode of the anime for today. To follow more episodes, please subscribe to the channel and activate the bell icon to receive all new updates. Our episode begins with Carmilla and Lily. Lily asks her how she is, wondering if she's sick. Carmilla laughs and tells her that the undead never get sick. They continue their conversation, and Carmilla tells her that the soup tastes delicious. Then Xenos enters and they welcome him. He asks Carmilla if the undead are attracted to stronger undead. Carmilla confirms this, and Xenos realizes that her staying by his side makes him safer. Lily looks at him, wishing Xenos would say something like that to her, telling her he feels safe by her side. Then we see Carmilla telling Xenos that he's a very strange person. All humans hate the undead, so why does he want her by his side? He tells her he never wants them to be separated. The next morning, we see Crescent with his teacher. The teacher tells him he's very proud of what he did in the Battle of the Undead and how he defeated them, but the student, Xeno, failed to live up to expectations. Crescent then tells them that Xeno is amazing too, as he was the one who actually defeated the undead and the Zombie King, and he saw it with his own eyes. The teacher is very surprised, and Crescent leaves the room. Then we see Xenos and Human with Dr. Baker. The doctor tells them that the Goldrand Research Lab has summoned Xenos, which is amazing news. His worship of the undead must have caught their attention. Xenos is surprised and tells him he thought the story would be that Crescent was the one who took over, but this is amazing news because it means he's passed the first hurdle. Dr. Baker tells him that he has an interview with Professor Goldrand, who is a highly influential figure and enjoys the support of the majority in the Royal Hospital. He doesn't meet just anyone and is very particular about power and ranks. Xenos asks him if Professor Goldrand is an advanced healer, but he himself is a distinguished healer, so why is Baker less important than Goldrand? Baker tells him that unfortunately political power and titles don't always match, especially since he earned his title by developing medicines. Then they wish Xenos good luck, and he leaves the room and goes to Professor Goldrand. We see his private secretary welcome Xenos. Then the professor asks him what he can do. Xeno tells him that healing is the only thing he's good at. The professor tells him that's not enough, and if he has power, he should aim higher. He suggests that he join the town's ruling class so he can use his power in the right way, and he'll guarantee him great gains. Then he asks him if he can redraw the magic circle he drew in class now, as he wants to see it himself. Xeno takes the paper and draws the magic circle. When the professor sees it, he tells him that there are several schools in magic circle design and in healing magic, and there are principles that must be observed. Any flaw in it means that he hasn't received formal education, and those who work by his side must be very qualified. He tells him that this magic circle is interesting, as he hasn't seen anything like it before. Then he tells him he can join the lab tomorrow and leaves. The next morning, we see the professor with the students going to the lab. We see Xeno next to Crescent. Crescent tells him that he recommended him to the professor so he could enter the lab, and he's indebted to him until death. Xeno asks him why he did him that favor. Crescent tells him he did it to exploit him. Then Xeno asks him what this procession is and where it's going. Crescent replies that it's the professor's usual tour where he visits patients and leads a procession, but he only visits those from the upper class. Then Xeno leaves him and tries to find information about the disappearances. Then he sees a patient telling the professor that his pain is increasing and he can't bear it since he twisted his foot at the end of the bed. The professor then uses his magic with the help of 3 healers and produces a magical crystal between his hands. A beam of light comes out of it and heals the patient. Then Xenos returns to Crescent and asks him about the spell the professor used that involved several healers. Crescent tells him that the professor's specialty is a health transfer sorcerer. He's a sorcerer who transfers life force from one person to another for healing. Even if the sorcerer isn't powerful, this magic can yield great results. If someone is injured, life energy is transferred to them from another person to enhance their recovery. The more severe the injury, the greater the need for life force, and a larger number of healthy individuals must be prepared to give the patient the necessary amount of energy for recovery. This explains why he wants to gather so many people in his lab. But more importantly, there are the director elections. Rumors say that the current director, Shalbard, is about to retire. So the professor is trying to secure votes in preparation for the upcoming elections. Then Xeno asks him if he knows someone named Alfred. Crescent tells him he knows him, but can't stand him. He suddenly disappeared after the professor had placed all his hopes in him, but they don't know the reason for his disappearance. He was invited to dinner and then disappeared immediately afterward. That dinner was hosted by the professor, and he would invite his favorites from time to time, and whoever was invited to that dinner meant they would be close to the professor in the future. The scene now shifts to Xenos in the library. His friend thanks him for all the valuable information. Xenos says, "I think my mission is complete now. I'll take my leave." But his friend stops him, saying, "Wait, kid, we've got a good lead, but it's not enough evidence yet. The best option now is for you to become close to Professor Goldrand so you can sneak into one of his private banquets. If you accomplish that, I'll pay you an additional sum besides fulfilling our basic agreement. Xeno replies, okay, even though I intended to go home, I'll stay. I also want you to tell me everything you know about my teacher. The friend assures him that he'll tell him everything he knows. Then he gives him an intelligence test, dropping some metal pieces and asking, if you were in my place, Xenos, which piece would you pick up first? At that moment, the assistant enters, looking for Dr. Baker. The friend says to her, we were just chatting. Baker then leaves with his escort. Next, the scene moves to Linga, who is sneaking into Xenos' bed, but she bumps into Zofia and collides with her. Linga asks her, why are you here? Zofia replies that she came to clean. At that moment, their other friend enters, but in a chaotic way, breaking the door and also announcing, I came to clean. They then clean the place and finish everything. After that, the scene shifts to Xenos and Crescent talking. Xenos says to him, enough of your foolishness, let's get to the point. Tell me, Crescent, this isn't your only job in the lab, is it? Crescent replies, no. Besides the excursions, I serve Lady Milk's food, and I take care of her washing, combing, and other things. Xenos says, you idiot, that's not what I mean. But Crescent is very silly and says, the professor is now in a meeting with the 7 nobles he seeks to befriend. I truly respect him, but if I gradually climb the faction ladder, I might be in his position. He wants promotions. When I become one of the prominent people and join their ranks, I'll enjoy luxurious food, beautiful women, and many servants whom I can order around. I love authority, so I'm doing my best to be a healer. At that moment, the mysterious boy enters and says to Crescent, finally, I found you. Are you taking care of Goldrin's pampered dog again? Crescent apologizes and says, Mr. Bones, I'm doing my best. Mr. Bones leaves him and says, what a shame. You won't go far in life just by flattering. And we know, friends, that this is Professor Goldrin's first secretary, but we also don't believe he holds the position of secretary, as he's always drinking alcohol and always drunk. As you can see, this is his reality. Perhaps they had an old friendship. At that moment, Bones throws some of what was in the bottle at them, and the dog immediately runs towards the bottle, but then some unfortunate things happen. A car hits the dog and it starts bleeding. Crescent tries to treat it and stop the bleeding, but unfortunately the dog's appearance is still the same, and it's also very dirty. The professor will probably kill me. He'll turn me into a kofta stick and put me in the oven and then eat me to his kids. What do I do now? Xenos tries to help him, and he successfully manages to heal the dog completely, but the dog needs to rest now. After that, the scene shifts to Xeno when he was with the beautiful girl with blue hair. She says, hi, how are you? Can we go out for a walk together? They indeed go out, and he asks her, is something wrong? She says, yes, I'm very sorry. If I were stronger, I would have gained Professor Goldbrand's attention, and you wouldn't have been dragged into all of this. I don't want to involve you in anything, but I'm truly sorry. This is beyond my control. I feel guilty now. He says, okay, so you invited me for a walk to tell me this? She says, yes, exactly. I know my apology might not mean much, but I wanted to tell you when we're somewhere. He says, don't worry. I'll get paid for my efforts from Baker, so it's fine. Don't worry about it. Besides, if it weren't for these opportunities, I would never have seen this hospital, nor would I have come here at all. And when I had the chance to get to know my teacher better, I have a lot to gain, so there's no need to worry. She says, okay, but if you still need anything, I'm at your service. Tell me, how was your teacher? He says, to be honest, I don't know. He seemed suspicious, but he taught me to read and write, introduced me to the world, and taught me many treatments about diseases and injuries and countless other things. I truly owe him my life. She says, it's similar to my relationship with Dr. Baker. I also owe him my life. When I decided to become a healer, he personally trained me, but he was so busy with his research that his girlfriend, whom he loved, left him. I take care of him now, and I know him because he's my mother's younger brother, my uncle. But I wasn't good at superpowers or scientific research. Xenos asks her, what research did you do? And simply replies, storing medicines, temperature, humidity, suitable preservation factors. It's really boring. He tells her, but the most important things in life are usually boring. It's normal, milady. Amin is very happy because Xenos is boosting her morale to the point that she says, you're an interesting person, Xenos. Oh, girl, are you gonna fall in love with him or what? Wake up a bit. The man is married. The 4 Bako are present until dinner. Is it at 8 p.m., for example? At that moment, the boy Crescent comes running and says, help me quickly, help me, Xenos, help me quickly. Xenos says, calm down, big guy, just tell me what you did. He says, I'm in real trouble, by God. Question for the episode. What do you think is his trouble? Please write it in the comments and we will reply to everyone. And with this, our episode ends today. Wait for us, God willing, in the next episode, but you must subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to receive all that is new.